Welcome everybody to the V8 Supercars America Series. I am Ken Kraft, running just a touch behind, which is getting to be kind of normal around here. But tonight we are at Spa, and it's looking like it's going to be an exciting race here. JD's not with us tonight. Instead, we've got Marlon McMullen with us again. Marlon's been doing really good in the broadcast booth for the last couple of weeks. It's a pleasure to have him. Welcome to the show, Marlon. Appreciate having you.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's always nice to be here. It's a bit different, as I said, always been outside the car, but I'm getting used to it now, and it's great to see all these boys out here. Spa, one of the best tracks that we can do in the V8 Supercar. So let's see what show they can put on today. Eh?
Well, it's looking good so far. We've got Sam Sutton out in front here, just about to go over to lap 2. Corey Preston not too far behind. Sean Kelly in 3rd. Tony Klusterman in 4th. Haven't seen Tony for a couple weeks, so good to see Tony Klusterman back. Ryan Borg in 5th. Paul Burrell in 6th. Dale Neesh in 7th. Gary Cooper in 8th. Raymond Stair in 9th. Jeff Gauke in 10th. Phil Jones in 11th. Jim Davey with us tonight. He'll be in 12th. Christian Morona in 13th. Jamie Eaton in 14th. Keith Wheeler rounds out the field in 15th.
Yeah, it's a good spread of competitors tonight. Spa is probably one of the more difficult tracks that we encounter with in the V8 Supercar, but it's always such a thrill to get out here, and it's a track that just really flows quite nicely, and it's always great to see, Corey come back around here, because I know Corey's especially quite quick around here, and today it's going to be quite a long race. It's 25 laps, so it's about 50 minutes, so it should be a pit stop thrown in, I would imagine, and yeah, we'll see how these boys go with the locking up on the front left corner. Lots of variables on this track to contend with. First thing is just staying on the track, but the other thing is trying to break that draft, so all Sam's trying to do at the moment is probably just creep away from Corey, get out of that little bit of a lead, but this battle's going through the whole field. It's great to watch at the moment.
Yeah, so far things looking really good at Spa. Spa, a pretty long circuit. It's 4.35 miles. That's 7 kilometers for the rest of the world. Tonight's race is going to be 191 miles with a lap record of 1 minute 45 seconds, according to this little overlay I got. Kimi Räikkönen set that.
Yeah, I think you're basing that one off the Formula 1 records, though. Unfortunately, yeah. These are the V8 Supercars, so I mean, they do a 1 minute 45 around here. It just shows you how, not so much how slow these cars are. They're doing about a 2 minute 22, 2:26 at the moment, but how quick these V8 Supercars do get around this circuit. And 7 kilometres is probably one of the longest circuits that we will visit throughout the calendar. Bathurst's only been about 6.2, I believe. So, yeah, you add that extra 800 metres, a few more straights, and it's one of those tracks where there's a lot of passing opportunities. So we'll see what these boys can come up with today.
There is some great passing opportunities here for the guys in the V8 Supercar. A thing that, I don't know, it seems like where a lot of these tracks can be kind of hard to pass on. Spa has several pretty decent passing opportunities, so it should be a really great show here tonight. I know Spa, a really good track for a lot of these drivers. I know Sean Kelly has mentioned several times how much he likes it here. So I think as this race goes on, it's really going to heat up. We've got 3 laps here. Like I said, they're over 4 miles a lap. I think if these guys had a full tank, they might be able to get through it. Do we know if they've limited the fuel here or not?
Yes, the fuel is limited to 56 litres tonight, so I assume that they'll be coming in. There's an absolutely fantastic battle going on with Brian Borg and Paul Burrell at the moment. They've been side by side for half of the lap through the first 2 sectors, and there's no signs of it sort of relinquishing who's going to be the alpha dog in this position. So going into Pouillon at the moment, it's turned into a 3-car battle. This is absolutely brilliant to watch.
Yeah, Gary Cooper getting up there as well. Going to try to make it a 4-car battle. Looks like he might be hanging back just enough, just in case disaster strikes. He might be able to make a gain from that. But Dale Neesh in the battle as well. Brian Borg and Paul Burrell. Paul, yesterday's winner, I believe. So we know he's got some speed.
It's good to see that there's more Ford Falcons this week compared to Virginia, where there's only one Ford Falcon throughout the field. So it's nice to see a bit of shade of blue, and coinciding, with the loss of the Ford Falcon the other day, the Ute in Australia. It's good to see that, we still have this car in the game. It brings back a bit of nostalgia for me at the moment. Just throwing in that bit of a random fact, but yeah, nice to see these Fords out here today.
Up front, Sean Kelly has caught Corey Preston all over the bumper, putting some serious pressure on that number 6 machinist, Corey Preston. We're going to have a battle here for second. A serious battle here before too long.
If Sean just focuses on getting a nice exit out of La Source, we'll try and hang with Corey going up here into Eau Rouge. It's very hard. You're very blindsided when you come up to the crest, so you're sort of relying on the guy in front of you to make sure that they don't make a mistake, but you sort of want them to make a mistake at the end of the curb at the top of the hill to get a nice bit of a slipstream run going down the Kemmel Straight. So Sean will focus on the best exit here, reel in Corey as good as he can, and then set himself up for another lap. And that's all it is here. It's about making the sort of just focusing on the exits, getting a good run for the straight, and that's all you need to do around your cane. It sets itself up beautifully for a pass. So it's one of those rare tracks. It's all about driver sort of concentration, and you really got to drive the most out of it, because if you don't, someone's just going to be right on you like a hornet.
Check back on that battle for 5th. Paul Burrell still out in front on that battle. Brian Borg in 6th. Del Niche dropped off just a little bit now, but still having a battle himself with Gary Cooper. Back in 9th, Jeff Gauke under some pressure from Phil Jones. And then Raymond Steer back in 11th, Jim Davey in 12th, Jamie Eaton 13th, Keith Wheeler back in 14th, and Christian Morona rounds out the field.
Great battles everywhere at the moment. It's very hard to sort of pick which one you want to watch, but Phil Jones is having quite a nice look out of the Pouillon onto the back of Jeff Gauche. We'll see what he can do in the next couple of laps, but that battle with Sean Kelly and Corey is really starting to heat up as well. It's all about the draft here, Kane. If you can't get that 1.8 second deficit, you're going to have a tough race for the next few laps trying to break the guy behind you. So Sean knows this. He'll just sort of stream onto the back of Corey, and you got to focus on not getting off tracks. That's the hardest thing around you. I think they only have 16 or 17, whatever it is. Very, very easy to get one per lap around you, and when the track's got 25 laps in a race, you might see a few guys get disqualified.
Yeah, that is a very good point. We have seen that here at Spa before, where the off tracks just tick up just enough to get to that 17 incident mark, and we'll see a car disappear, disqualified from incidents.
It's the most gut-wrenching feeling, but it's also when you're one of the competitors and you're like, where's this fellow gone? It takes a few seconds for you to understand what has happened, and it's a bit annoying that iRacing doesn't sort of give you a bit more warning when you're the preceding car, but you sort of count them up. You'll watch the other driver throughout the lap, and at the moment, I mean, that's all Corey's focus and Sean's focus. They're just sort of focusing on each other, and same as the other guys throughout the field, and you just count them lap by lap and lap and lap, and then you go, are they on 10, are they on 11, and you put a bit more pressure on them, and you try to evoke them into a mistake, and it's such a hard track, Kane. And then you throw in a pit stop and it changes everything, because this is probably one of the longest pit lanes we've got.
Oh, the pit lane here is just ridiculously long. You're right. A pit stop here can change everything. The battle back there between Paul Burrell and Brian Borg has now kind of subsided a little bit. Brian Borg now 1.5 seconds off of 5th place Paul Burrell. Something must have happened there that cost Brian some time, but he's definitely out of the draft now, and Paul Burrell should just start pulling away. Brian Borg now going to be coming under fire from Del Niche.
He's definitely starting to come into the clutches of Dale, and we can't forget that Dale's Corey's teammate, and we know Corey's traditionally quite well around this circuit. And I know Dale's actually quite good here as well. He feels really comfortable, and I like watching Dale. You know, there's a lot of guys throughout the field that I get a new chance now to have a look at, and there's certain things from each driver that they apply throughout, you know, the driving style and all that. And I've always admired something about Dale, so I want to see what he can do this race. I know he likes the track, so he's one to probably watch throughout the field. And Jim's also another guy that I want to see how he's progressing as well at the moment.
Yeah, Jim, a driver who hasn't raced a whole lot in the V8 Supercar this season, or even last for that matter. Just a lot of frustration with Jim in the V8 Supercar, so he took a break, went over, did some GT3 stuff, and it's good to see him back giving the V8 Supercar some more time and see how things go. He tends to have I don't know, it seems like he catches some bad luck. Like, I don't know, his car's got big magnets on it or something. He always tends to attract another car to knock into his, spinning him out or something, costing him a lot of positions toward the end of the race when you really think he's going to end up getting a good position. Something when the moon falls out of the sky and he ends up facing backwards on the track. So really hoping Jim can have a little bit of luck here tonight and get a good finishing position.
That battle between Dale is really heating up at the moment. Well, he's gone right under. I've never seen such an aggressive car attitude, and unfortunately come together.
Yeah, Dale.
Which is
make sure and waits a little bit, regresses that position back to Brian, but now he's seriously under pressure from Gary Cooper. That little charge could cost him another position right here. It looks like it's going to. So Dale, being as sportsman as he is, made sure and regress that position to Brian Borg, and in doing so, cost him another position.
I think Dale might have been a little bit blindsided in the corner before, and he just sort of overshot his mark. Very easy to do here, and you know, when these guys are on the absolute adhesion of the brakes and the grip and everything that you got, it's so easy to make a mistake and lose your reference marker. And when you're tucked up that close behind another car, it's very, very hard. So well done to Dale, just stopping that thing as much as he could. But yeah, sometimes, you know, it's just a track. You've got to take a bit of a gamble, a bit of a punt. Not literally, but, you know, just have a bit of a shot of it. And it's great to see that stuff, but, you know, could have been so much worse. So it's great to see that they both came out of it quite well with limited damage. But Gary's been the great beneficiary out of all those people, and he's right tucked in the bumper of Brian now, ready to have an attack in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, and Dale Niche in danger of possibly losing that draft if he don't suck it up really quick. He could definitely lose that draft, and it'll be very challenging from that point forward.
You don't want to lose the draft. It's so important. I mean, this race, it can either go two ways: in the pit stop or through a driver mistake, or, you know, getting disqualified. So if you just stay in that draft, you know, you don't have to use as much as the car. You're sort of putting that pressure on the guy in front. You know, you can drive half a second a lap slower because you'll make that half a second a lap back just throughout, you know, the long straights here. So it's all about setting yourself up, sort of not for the early part of the race, but more for the second phase. And you know, that's something I think Sean's doing at the moment with Corey. And geez, Corey's nearly lost it coming out of Eau Rouge. And that was quite a hairy moment for Corey. Well done to save that one. I think that might have been my save of the day right then. Oh, the battle between Sean and Corey is really heating up now. And it's a time for pit stops as well, Kane. A couple of drivers come in the last lap of Brian Borg and I think it was Dale Niche, so expect a couple of others to come in this lap as well.
All right, sorry for that little break there, guys. Just heard from the guys on YouTube that the volumes were kind of jacked up, so made some adjustments there. Hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better. Turned down Marlin a little bit as well. I had him cranked up pretty high, so hopefully this will sound a little bit better. I'm using a backup mic tonight. My boy broke my standard mic, so it's probably going to be a little tough to hear me, but hopefully we'll get through it. Let's check back and see how things are going back toward the back of the field. We do got a battle here. Jim Davey in 10th. He's got Jamie Eaton in 11th, coming up right behind. Still back there. He's been having this battle for quite a while now. Well, I guess that could have been another car that looks just like Eaton's up in front of Jim Davey. That's Raymond Stair who has been battling with Jim rather most of the night. So Raymond has got around Jim Davey, seeing Jamie Eaton headed into the pits. Brian Borg in the pits as well. Phil Jones and Dale Nish has completed his pit stop.
Could be a 2 pit stop race apparently.
Really, 14.9 seconds on Dale Nish's pit stop. 16.5.
I'm not too sure.
16.5 for Phil Jones and 18 seconds for Jamie Eaton. So definitely a big variance in pit stop times so far.
It's quite difficult to know at the moment. I mean, it's only lap 8 or lap 6, whatever it was, in the starting to come in, and it's a 56 litre tank. I know it's about a 4-something litre burn or something off the top of my head, so I don't know. It could actually be a 2 pit stop race, but some of these boys, they tend to do some weird things.
Checking back on the Corey Preston and Sean Kelly battle. Sean's still right there with him. It seems like Sean might just be following him right now, just trying to get some of these laps ticked away. Make sure he stays in the draft of Corey and just try to hold on to that 3rd position for now and stay with Corey, and maybe we'll see him try to make that charge on Corey in the last half of the race.
Well, I think one thing that Sean will be hoping is a mistake out of Corey, and he's coming in now. He's going to try and do the undercut. It wasn't the best pit lane entry I've ever seen, but he managed to regather it up without hitting the wall. But it's also the short pit lane today, so these drivers are very lucky. I think they're just coming in up here and getting straight on out of the La Source and then straight back into the laps. So quick sort of pit stop for Sean. It could be a 2 pit stop race. We haven't 100% sure yet, but see how quick his stop is.
Sam Sutton's still out there, still out in the number 1 spot. 5.9 seconds separate him in 2nd place, Corey Preston, who has stayed out as well.
He's doing everything right today, Sam. He's driving quite a nice, clean race, and that's all what you want to do around here at Spa. You don't really want to battle anyone. You just want to get out of that draft, sort of focus ahead, and it's one of those tracks you can really enjoy and you just sort of groove into, and it's very hard to break that little bit of a rhythm unless, all of a sudden a lap car comes out of somewhere. But it's such a long track. It's just one of those places you can really groove in, and that's what he's doing at the moment. He's really gelling with the track, and it's good to see that, and he's putting a nice bit of a buffer over Corey. So see how he progresses in the next 5 or 6 laps, but at the moment he's looking right on target for a nice win today.
Sean Kelly has made his way out of the pits. A 16.5 second pit stop for Sean Kelly. He comes in behind Jim Davey, just ahead of Christian Morona. Looks like he's about 3 seconds behind Jim Davey, so some good clean air for a little while for Sean Kelly.
That's the most important thing here, getting in that clean air, getting it out of the pit stop as quick as possible. If you can get a draft, that's always great, get that tow for a couple of laps and then hope that person comes in. But when you have the fresh tyres here, it makes a complete massive difference on the undercut. So he'll be looking at trying to get Corey, and Corey will know that he pitted in the last lap, so Corey could be in this lap.
So pit stops is definitely shaking things up a little bit. There's not a really close battle on the track right now, as the cars have kind of gapped because of pit stops. At least about 2 seconds separate at least all the cars on the track, much more on some battles.
And starting to spread each other out. At the moment, Sean's starting to find the tail end of the top 10 at the back of Jim Davey, so he'll be hoping to get past these guys. But that's what I said 30 seconds ago. It's about getting that draft now, using the fresh tyre, getting past these guys, because he can make a second per lap, and all of a sudden, you know, Sean could be in front of Corey. So some big things can happen in the next few laps.
Yeah, that's one thing about it. Corey Preston is out there all by himself, nobody to draft from. He could definitely suffer if Sean is able to get some draft and make up.
And he had a
some of that
bad
time.
lap. He had a very bad lap the last one. It was a 2:27 compared to Sam Sutton's 2:24. And that makes Sean lick his lips right there. I don't know if you'll have the information, but that's what I mean. 1.5 seconds of lap slower. He's got the fresh tyres. Depends what Sean can do now. So every second counts. Corey needs to come in. Gary Cooper's having an absolute phenomenal drive today. It's absolutely great to see him up there in fourth position at the moment. And I'm not sure if he's pitted or he hasn't pitted yet, but he's definitely looking good towards his top 6 finish today, I believe.
Things looking good so far. A great battle early on for Gary Cooper. Really got kind of lucky with that little incident with Del Niche, but he has capitalized on it, getting that position. He was able to get up there, race with Brian Borg. Brian Borg has pitted now and is back in 10th place, so I'd say Gary will probably come in around 9th after his pit stop. He could even be down in 11th. Depending on if Dale has had, or Brian Borg has had any incidents or something that cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, our race leader is coming to the pits, and the next question is, will Corey now come into the pits? Which he doesn't. Corey is going to go take lead the lap. I'm a little bit baffled that he hasn't come in, you know, especially on his last lap, but he's come back and he's done the 2:24, but it all depends on what Sean does now. So I know Sean's made 2 seconds in the last 2 laps, but that's a battle that I'm very focused on at the moment.
Sean just about ready to get in the draft of another car out in front. He probably won't be there for long.
Sean might take Sam here. What's going on here? Coming out of the source. Sean's a lot closer to Sam than I've ever seen in my life. He's got to be right in the draft here, Kane. Depends what happens to Sam coming out of Eau Rouge up here. This could really hamper Sam and get a really good beneficiary for Sean coming down the Camel Straight.
Sam has got a little company out in front with the Evolution Racing machine.
Yes, I'm very confused what has happened here. I don't know if Sam's taken more fuel or something, but Sean's right on the back of him and he's going for the race lead at the moment now. And Sean did a 2:23 that last lap, over a second quicker than Corey, so he's going to clear Corey once Corey pits. So Sean is effectively now battling for the lead, but we'll see what he can do with Sam. We know Sam's got brand new spanking tyres around here, and you know Sean stayed out for that extra lap or whatever it was, came in the lap before Sam, so he's already put 7 kilometres, you know, of road onto that tread of tyre. So that extra 7 fresh kilometres for Sam is going to really help him sort of pull away here, but he's got to do it all over again, Kane. He's got to break that draft, and Sean knows that. He doesn't want to break that draft, but depends what happens in the second stint. I don't know if they have to fuel save or they're going to come in and do another stop.
Yeah, very serious fuel limitation here today at Spa. Really kind of puts the strategy into question coming into the race here today. The drivers will learn a lot of strategy from running in this race or from watching this race, and we'll kind of get some ideas on how they want to play it for Monday night's Australian official race.
And Corey is pitted. This is very important. Oh, he's locked up the rears. He's gone nearly straight into the wall. Then that was quite a nice save, but it shows you how hard he's. They always push. So it's great to see that sort of stuff. But where is Corey going to emerge? That is my question.
Sean Kelly falling off from Sam Sutton just a little bit. It looks like he gained a lot on the brakes there. Might manage to stay in the draft.
There's no Ethan today. That's something that we should also note. I know Ethan was looking quite well towards the end of the championship, but he could be using today as a off week, or he could be busy with something else. But today is the day that Sean needs to get points. I believe Sean's quite close to him in the championship, and so that's something Sean knows. He needs to push today, and he's doing quite a good job at the moment.
Yeah, Ethan Grigol is in the front coming into today by, he's got 959 points. Sean Kelly's 798, and I believe that the America Series just has one drop week. Is that right, or do they have two?
I think it's two. Last season was two. I would assume that will still stay the two. But that thing with Corey, he's come out of pit lane. He's come out right behind Paul Gorell. He's come out way off Sean. That extra few laps staying out has really hampered Corey.
Yeah, Paul Gorell
by about the
has
tune of 15 seconds.
So right now that is Corey's official position. Just one spot further because Jeff Gauci has not pit yet. But the effective position for Corey now is 4th place. Paul Gorell up into 3rd.
See how Corey goes with those new tyres though, but yeah, he's lost out quite massively to Sean, at least at the tune of 10 plus to 15 seconds. So he'll be a little bit baffled as to what has happened, but all he can do now is sort of focus ahead, and that's the main thing, just focus on what you can do now rather than in the moment 20 seconds ago.
I was just watching on the rear camera of Paul Gorell, and I just seen a rock fly out from underneath his car and bounce across the pavement. That was amazing.
These little graphic things that you get to see, Kane. Unfortunately, my computer's that low-end spec now these days. All I see is the lowest of the lowest graphics. So that could be Paul, using his James Bond technique out of his car to, sort of throw something at Corey. See what else he might have up his arsenal. Throwing rocks. They should never do that in a glass house, or whatever the saying is.
That was. Let's see if he had anything else up his arsenal. That for some reason I heard that and it sounded like something completely different.
Well, the other term could be inventory or item list or whatever you want to call it. But
yeah, so Corey now has rolled up right onto the bumper of Paul Gorell. Definitely will have the benefit of the draft up through Eau Rouge.
There's many great battles going on at the moment. There's another one of Raymond Steer and Keith Wheeler going into the last corner at the chicanes.
Whoa. Keith doing a great job up here racing with these guys who have had several races under their belt now. Raymond Steer, definitely not a new guy to the V8 Supercar anymore, and Keith Wheeler up here racing right with him, so great to see these guys having such a good race here at Spa.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're battling for the World Championship back here. It doesn't matter where you are, whether it's at the front or towards the middle of the pack, but these guys are having a great battle. And I don't know, stats up ahead, Jim Davey having a good look at Jeff Gauci going down the Kemmel Straight. Oh, he's come. Oh, that was very close going. You could have put a cigarette paper between those two cars right then. That's how close that they were together.
Yeah, Jim Davey moved up into 11th. Jeff Gauci in 12th, but I think Jeff is probably going to be working really hard on Jim to try to get that position back.
Yeah, he's just come out of the pits as well, I believe, Jeff. So he'll have that fresh grip. But you know, there's a great battle going on back here. It's only a 5-car battle, and you know, one car goes off, it's like that, or a couple run wide. They're all bunched up together again, and you know, it could be like the battling on lap 1 again. That's the sort of feeling here. So all these guys, they've just got to sort themselves out over the next few laps. It's going to be quite interesting to watch this.
One thing worth mentioning here, 14 laps in, Spa is such a track that can get such huge gaps in between cars because, you know, the varying speed of the cars, pit stops thrown in and everything. The car that's in last place, Christian Morona, is only 1.6 seconds off the rest of the field. So that is really amazing to see the car that is in last place be so close to the field. Usually there's a car that's off pace far enough to be close to getting lapped and stuff like that here at Spa. And to see things going so well for everybody tonight, that's really, really good.
Yeah, it's great to see all the guys running on pace. And, you know, as I said, even at the back of the field at the moment, they're having a great big 4-5 car battle, you know, this big massive train that's developing. And it's just great to see that no one's DNF'd today. It's a very tough circuit, you know, it's very easy to make a mistake. And they're all sort of having battles, you know, no matter where you look. And I can't really take my eyes off this at the moment. There's so much smoke coming out of the tyres, and they're really giving it everything they've got. It's great to watch this.
Disqualification for Dale Nish.
It's quite early in the race as well, lap 14, so it's a real possibility here, Kane, you know, and coming that early in the race, I expect another couple maybe to fortunately find the black flag by the end of the race.
Yeah, seeing Chris D'Angelo commenting on the YouTube chat. Chris D'Angelo not with us today, so like he mentioned in the chat, no points for Chris this week. That's gonna hurt a little bit in that championship run. He might still have a drop week left as well. I don't have the full points in front of me to see, but definitely sorry to see Chris D'Angelo not with us here today. Sean Kelly now 2 seconds behind Sam Sutton. Sam's starting to pull away as this race continues on. It's looking like from the comments in the YouTube channel that this very well could be a 2-stop race. So the strategy is still yet to play here at Spa.
It's such a long race, you know, and they added another pit stop which can change everything again, and it's great to see that. There's a bit of thought into this race today, you know, so it's always nice to have, you know, pit stops around, so we'll see who can do another good undercut here, but you know, that battle towards the back of the field still raging like no tomorrow at the moment. It's great to watch today's race.
Yeah, this battle back here, Jim Davey in 10th, Jeff Gauci in 11th, Raymond Stair in 12th, Keith Wheeler in 13th.
First of the 2 pit stops have begun. I think Brian Borg has come in, so yeah, lap 14 of lap 25. Looks like, unless someone has pulled out some sort of magicianal trick today and saved as much fuel as they can in the world, I believe that they will have to do 2 pit stops, but depends how much they have to take in that second stop. Some people look like they took, you know, were there for longer of a sitting period, so I don't know if they need more fuel or whatever it is, how they'll break it up, so we'll see what happens.
Corey did get around Paul Burrell quite a long time ago, actually. Paul now 4.3 seconds back, so Corey Preston definitely has some great pace here. His last lap at 2:23.3. That's just a little slower, just a touch, just a tenth slower than his fastest lap.
He'll be putting the charge back on, trying to make up as much time as he can. I mean, he's lost 14 seconds to the back of Sean, so since that pit stop, so he could have taken more fuel. We're not too sure at the moment. We'll just have to see how he goes the next few laps, but he focuses well around here. He's always been really switched on at this track. So depending what happens between Sam and Sean, Sam's sort of getting a bit of the benefit of the arm wrestle at the moment, winning that one. I don't think Corey's really going to do too much more damage today, but it's all about breaking away from Paul now and just focusing on coming home in third, I guess.
Keith Wheeler looking to get position on Raymond Stair. He thinks a little better of it, tucks back in line, and continues to follow. Thought he was going to go in and try to take that position. He fooled me, still following. This has been a battle that's just been a lot of fun to watch back here toward the back of this field. You would think that this battle was up at the front as hard as these guys are racing.
Yeah, they're going hammer and tong right at the moment. No matter where you look, each part of the lap, someone's going, battling side by side. And now at the moment, it's Keith having a good look on the back of Raymond Steer. But this has allowed Christian to catch up right to the back of them. So, it's a nice big 5-car battle. And Jim, being at the front of this is just trying to get away, run away with all this and trying to focus now on catching Jamie. But this could be nearly a 6-car battle very soon, Kane.
Oh, a little contact there from Christian. Just a little bump to the back bumper to say, I'm right here. Didn't brake early enough, and I guess that's all I had to say.
Yeah, leaving a little bit of his license plate and his initials on the back of his bumper there, and nothing wrong with that. It's great to see that. And the person that usually that benefits is the car in front of you, because they get that little bit of a bit of a tap, bit of a get go in the rear, so it helps you around here. But all these cars, they're all now in the draft, and that's another big thing. So one car gets a bad run out of Eau Rouge, bang. It'll be like a hornet's nest, all these things just attacking each other one by one. So they're all battling, very, very hard at the moment. They're all tightly bunched up, so anything can happen now.
Jim Davey 4.2 seconds off of Jamie Eaton. Jamie up in 7th place. Jamie 20 seconds away from the place ahead of him. 6th place, Tony Klusterman. And then Tony 5 seconds from the position in front of him. So this is that point that I was talking about where the cars really get kind of gapped toward the finish of this race. And we're seeing 17 seconds between Gary and the position in front of him, which is 4th place, Paul Gorell. Paul 6 seconds off of Corey Preston now. And then Corey, of course, was 14 seconds off of a 2nd place, Sean Kelly. So kind of a backwards run down there through the field. Sam Sutton out in front with a 14, now 15-second lead on Sean Kelly. Sean in the pits, that's why it was ticking up so fast.
Yeah, Shaw coming in now for the final of his pit stops today. So it's looking like it's going to be a 2 pit stop race regardless, but just depending how much fuel that they've taken in that first stop, how much they could have saved in that second stint, we don't know. So he'll be looking at trying to make a bit of a gain on the back of Sam. But yeah, at the moment, I don't know if Corey put more fuel in that first stop, but I still can't explain that 15-second deficit loss. So he'll have something to say, come post-race interviews. It could have been a bird that came out on the track or something. I don't know. Many things that can happen throughout a lap.
Yeah, Corey's pit stop, 25.2 seconds last time around. And of course, we were seeing guys with 16-second pit stops, so that was definitely a long stop. But he raced quite a bit longer, so.
Oh, sorry, there's been an accident in the last corner. Keith Wheeler's trying to go into the pit lane. Unfortunately, that's caught up Brian Borg in the back of Raymond Steer. That's just a bit of an example, of the pit lane entry. You get it wrong, you run a little bit wide, and yeah, that's just gone all bad for him there, and he had to stop completely in the middle of the track and wait just to be able to turn into the pit lane.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that on replay here and see exactly what happened. That's it. Slow down from Keith Wheeler just because he knows he's wanting to pit this time around, and yeah, he definitely got caught up on the wrong side of traffic.
But where's Christian Morona gone? Because he was the other car in that incident. Does that disqualify Christian Morona?
It looks like it, yep.
Ah.
So a tough break. Yeah, tough break for Christian Morona and Dale Niche now. 2 cars disqualified with 9 laps to go here. Christian was having a great race too. So that's really unfortunate to see.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you don't know when they go, and you watch an incident like that, and I watched it, and I'm like, where's he gone? He's just turned into a ghost, and first thing that clicked was he's been disqualified. Nothing that he did wrong there at all, being someone else's accident, but unfortunately, you know, having 17, or being right up there in terms of the incident points, that's all it took. You know, a little bit of car contact, and that ruined his whole day, so that's really, that's a heartbreaking story out of that incident points there. I've never seen something like that, but what can you do? But at the moment, Jeff Gauci seems to be fuel saving. He's fuel saving massively.
With 8 laps to go, that would be a lot of fuel saving. I don't know how long he's been fuel saving, but it's going to be interesting if he does try to fuel save it. It'll give a lot of drivers some ideas for Monday night's race. Sean Kelly came out behind Paul Grill. He has now made that position, or came out behind Gary Cooper rather, has made that position up and is now in 4th place.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't know all their fuel burns at the moment. We don't know how much they could be saving towards the tune of a lap, but you know, it's a 7-kilometre circuit, 4.3 miles, whatever it is. There's a lot of fuel you've got to burn around here. So when you're in the back of the draft, you know, you try to save up as much fuel as you can, coming off the throttle a little bit earlier and doing anything you can around here. And if it's a 2 pit stop race, you know, sometimes saving as much fuel as you can, making it a 1 pit stop race, avoiding the pit lane of 30 seconds can be beneficial. So we'll see what Jeff gets up to in the next few laps.
Saying roughly 5 liters a lap of fuel burn here at Spa.
That's quite a high fuel economy, isn't it? I wouldn't want my car ever running something like that on the road. Just imagine the amount of fuel that you're going to have to pay each week.
Yeah.
Like it's all virtual.
Sounds like my big old work truck. It gets, I have no idea on the kilometers, but it gets about, I don't know, less than 10 miles to the gallon. That thing's a hog.
You know, for the fuel economy for these boys a little bit better. I mean, whenever we do a race where there's 2 pit stops, it's not very common. It has happened a few times before at Bathurst and that, but it always throws in an extra variable, throwing in an extra pit stop, because it changes your whole mentality. Because you can break the race up into another sort of stint, another sort of part of it. And yeah, sometimes having that 2 pit stops can also evoke a strategy of fuel saving, you know. Someone may want to try and get the beneficiary of avoiding the pit lane. And, you know, now there's a battle between Brian Borg and Jeff Gauci, and you know, Jim's not too far away in front, so it's really going on back here now.
Yeah, these guys have kept the battle going all race long. Kudos to them for that, keeping the race interesting here toward the back half of the field. Definitely some excitement back here. Brian Bork all over the bumper of Jeff Gauci. Of course, Jeff, if he is fuel saving, it won't take long for Brian to get around him, as Brian has already made his 2nd pit stop.
That's what Brian knows. He needs to get past him very quick, because there's others in front of him that are now coming into the pits for their 2nd stop. So every second he loses behind you could haunt him. And I don't know if Jeff is fuel saving for that 2nd stint, but I don't think it's really going to give him too much beneficiary if he is. But yeah, the carry's coming out, so yeah, I'm not too sure. We'll see how this pans out. Oh, Jim Davey would be licking his lips at the moment being in front of this battle. This is a great battle going up to Eau Rouge.
Cooper comes out right there with Jeff Gauci. He does get out in front and takes that 7th position. Brian Borg just up ahead in 6th now. I gotta say,
definitely feels so.
A really good race from Brian Borg in the simulated machine here today. Really impressed with how Brian's raced his race here today. Jim Davey up in 5th as well. I think Jim still has a pit stop to make. I'm not quite sure. Just a little bit ago, my overlays crashed, and when they did that, I lost all my pit information.
Yeah, he's one to watch lately, Brian Borg, and there's a couple of others as well, even Gary Cooper, and these are the new names, you know, these are the new faces, if you like, the new era or the new sort of generation of guys, even though they're probably older than me or something, but you know, at the end of the day, it's great to see these guys start rising up, you know, and clicking more with the car, feeling more comfortable with it, and you know, just having races what they sort of like, and it's great to see them, you know, having these battles. And today, you know, Jim absolutely at the moment is doing a great job, and he's doing the job of his life, just trying to, you know, stay in front of these guys, because these guys are getting good now, Brian Borg and all that. So we'll see how they start developing over the next few months.
Jim doing the smart thing there, allowing a little bit of room for Brian to get by. Jim's in a good position here. He needs to make sure that he finishes this race, and to do so, he's going to have to be a little lenient with these guys and make sure that he don't get his incident count racked up.
And that's another thing. We don't know how many incidents some of these boys have, and we don't have this sort of number which shows us on the side of the display, you know, graphic board. But unless there is something in iRacing, we have a quick look. It does have an incident thing on the side cane in the entries page, but unfortunately there's a dash through everyone's entry, so unless they've all been disqualified in the last lap, I'm not too sure how that works.
Maybe it's something iRacing is planning to export that data, and they just haven't got it going quite yet.
I'll make our life a lot easier
to
being up here in the booth.
I think it does show them after the race, all the incidents. I'm not sure. Sometimes knowing that as a racer, sometimes I guess you shouldn't really know it when you're on the track. You know, it would be great to know what everyone's running in terms of incident points. But right now, you know, when you do a broadcast, it would be great for us to sort of just know what these guys are running. And you know, every time you run wider, you put four wheels over the curb. It's just so easy to get an extra incident point, and especially when you're in the heat of the moment of the battle. And you know, even those 5 laps to go at the moment, some guys could just vanish completely off the surface of the track due to the disqualification. Yeah, especially those guys that have been in a couple hard battles like Brian Borg and Gary Cooper and Jeff Gauci. These are the drivers that might really be at risk, because when you're so close to the bumper of the car in front of you, it's really hard to see those turns coming up and everything, and it's really easy to get a tire off.
In the meantime, Sam, our race leader, is coming for his second stop, and he's come out in front of Sean with a little bit of a gap. So for the next few laps, he'll be looking at just sort of keeping things steady as she goes, and focusing on coming home for a nice, hopefully, win today. He's done a very good job, so good on Sam.
Sam's having a very good season this year, not only in the America Series. I think he has missed a couple races here, so I don't think he's up challenging for the lead in points, but in the official and in V8 Cups, Sam really showing that he is very quick. Almost 12 seconds back to Sean Kelly. Holy smokes.
He's done a very good job today, and he's just really been gelled in ever since the start of it. I think he's led it from start to finish. So, you know, these are those drives that you got to focus on. You go, wow, you know, you got to watch someone like this and remember it, and that's something, you know, maybe Sean will remember going into his V8s Online series, whatever it is, and all that. So, yeah, it's a really good drive today by Sam, and should be very over the moon. And he's really developed in the last 6 to 8 months. So, you know, it's only the start of his sort of middle of his young career, and we'll see what he can do over the next 6 to 12 months. You know, and he could be a champion, chasing down the likes of Jared Filsell very soon. So, he's doing very well at the moment.
Definitely in contention for the Australian official series, the Monday night series. He's just behind Ethan Greg Gold, I believe, or at least last week he was. I heard Jay mention that on the Monday night broadcast. So It's definitely going to be an exciting season in the V8 Supercar, that's for sure.
The
Things
battle
heating up.
between
Yeah.
Tony, eh?
Yeah, there's a big battle there. Tony Klusterman, Gary Cooper, and Brian Borg. Brian out in front this time of Gary Cooper, but Gary putting some serious pressure on. And Tony Klusterman now up in that battle as well, making it a 3D battle. It's going to be, this one's going to be the battle to watch for sure.
Yeah, they're all going for that big top 5 position at the moment. Who's going to come out on top there? So, 3-car battle, a couple of laps left to go. You know, everything they've got now, depending on incident points, depending how much fuel they've got, how much tyre grip they've got, they're going to be throwing it all at the track now. So, we'll see what these guys can get up to, and hopefully maybe Tony could be the big winner out of all this, you know, because he's got the double draft at the moment, and it's just about picking them through one by one, making your moment and just seizing that opportunity. And it looks like he's about to make one on Gary, but oh, he's gone in way too deep. He's gone, oh no, it's all gone to miss there, hasn't it?
Oh, bad luck for those guys. Holy smokes, let me get a replay on that one.
There was no signs of stopping it. He could have been blindsided, just like early on with one of the other fellas. You know, it's just, he was not stopping at all, Kane. It was like someone put a watermelon under his brake pedal. He just got nothing out of it.
Taking a look on replay here as these guys getting ready to come into that sharp right-hander. Tony just didn't have anything right into the back of Brian Borg. Gary Cooper must have seen it coming or something. He kind of got out of the way.
Yeah, when you see a car, you know, speeding 20 kilometres an hour past you, and you know when someone's missed the brake marker, and yeah, that was a big moment there. So I don't know if any got any slowdowns, but that's what I mean. That's at the incident points, and yeah, those things you don't want to get now. Brian's missing the back of his bumper, so yeah. They got some massive car damage between those two. I've never seen a car like that with damage on Tony's car on the front end.
Yeah, Tony definitely smashed up on, especially on the front driver's side of that machine. So
I hope he hasn't got a black flag. Yeah, I hope he hasn't got a debris flag or something by the marshals to come in. But he'll have quite a lot of damage. It'll be very, very hard to turn left at the moment. I've never seen the front end of the car. It has not even been centre punch. It's been side punch in the side of the cheek there. That's quite an interesting damage model.
Whoa!
Oh, he's lost it. Yeah, we saw that. So that's the end of that.
Yeah, you could tell he was taking it nice and slow, really fighting to keep that thing going straight, and it didn't take much to get that thing sliding around.
Unfortunately, I think he might have a flag and he'll be coming in this lap to address it. So that's heartbreaking for Tony. Never nice to see that, you know, especially when he's in such a great position in the battle. But yeah, that's how things can go wrong so quickly in motor racing. But there's still a race going on elsewhere, so not much we can do now.
Gary Cooper with a little mistake going into that final turn. Really took a lot of time off of him and Brian Borg.
Well, that's the thing. Brian's got damage, but Gary doesn't have damage. So we're not too sure how much speed that Brian might be losing down the straight. So as long as Gary stays between that draft, which is ever so important around the circuit, he could, unless he does something like that and really runs off the circuit right there at Eau Rouge, but you know, it could just slowly start reeling him in again. Because when you get damage, it really does stuff you up. It does make your car a couple of tenths slower per lap. And when you have that fresh car, especially at a track like Bathurst, you notice it in the last 10 laps towards the end of a race. You just start catching people. And it's amazing, you know, a little bit of damage can cause 5 or 10 kilometre difference in speed.
Well, Gary Cooper in danger of losing that draft, so he needs to get on the ball if he wants to stay in the draft at Brian Borg. 1.3 seconds back now, Gary Cooper from Brian Borg. He'll still benefit a little bit from the draft, but he's going to have to make some gains here pretty soon.
It's very hard to sort of keep that mindset, you know, chasing the car. But the laps are dying down. He'll know that Brian's got a bit of damage on the rear. He knows that his car's not to the best of his liking because it could be better without the damage. So he'll know all that, Gary. He'll be doing the best laps of his life trying to catch him for a 5th position. Let's not forget that at the moment. These guys are battling for 5th, so that's a great result by these guys. And that gives them confidence, you know, going into the next few rounds. And it just shows you that these guys, they're progressing. And, you know, that's great to see in the last 6 months.
It is. Gary Cooper taking all that time down. He's now less than a second. Definitely well in the draft at this point. 0.7 seconds between Gary Cooper and Brian Borg.
Just the difference of having, you know, that fresher car with no damage, and he's got himself right back into contention here for the next couple of laps. But you don't need to rush it, you know, now. You just want to set yourself up. He's got the draft. He's got everything he needs around him. Set yourself up for La Source. Get a nice run out of there. Make it done at Eau Rouge and finish it off on the Camel Straight. So that's something that these guys, you know, they'll start learning more about, you know, where you got to place the car and just have that sort of moments. So let's see what he can do here in the next couple of laps. If now or never, that's what I would say.
Take a look at Tony Klusterman back out on track. I don't know, even though he didn't even go into the pits. Now he's finally going into the pits because I guess he does probably have a flag requiring it. But he was racing right there with Jeff Gauci for quite a while. Actually had some pace in that car, being as broken as it is.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been the contact hit that blew this. Gary Cooper's got the roll. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, wow, that was very close to a... Wow. Sorry, I've never seen a very close moment like that before coming out of Eau Rouge. Just had nowhere to go going onto the back of Camel Straight and nearly got shown the barriers at 200 plus kilometres an hour. That was a very scary moment for Gary. He had to get right out of the throttle there. But that's the thing, you know, Tony had not so much the damage from the first incident, it would have been from hitting the wall. That probably got him the meatball flag. So you don't want to ever serve those things. You think that they're going to magically disappear, but unfortunately they don't. But Gary's right on the back now, having a good look at the back of Brian, and he could be seeing red after that little move that Brian did to him on the Camel Straight then.
Yeah, with 2 laps to go, this is the hottest battle on the track right now. It is the battle for a top 5 position. Sam Sutton has now crossed the line and is on his final lap. Gary Cooper trying to get something going here on Brian Borg. He does got the car out in front at this point. Looks like he's got it done.
Yeah, but it was pretty easy by Brian. He might be setting himself up for the last lap. You never know. He could be having fuel issues as well. But his car, I mean, he's got damage, so it's pretty hard just to even get around the circuit at the moment. Especially when you're battling someone, you know, like Gary, who's got a brand spanking new car, looks like. That's all that matters around here. He's got no damage at all. He's had a really good race today. He's just kept on his own sort of business and terms, and he's put out a really good result today. And that's what some of the days that you need, you know, just focus down. Don't worry about the other guys. Let them make their own mistakes or let them have their own accidents, and you know, you can come out with something really good.
Has Jeff Gauci pit, or is he still out fuel saving?
He's still fuel saving. He's in 7th though.
I think that's probably right around where he would have been anyway, because he was battling those guys right around in that area. So I don't know that there was a whole lot of gains from fuel saving there.
Yeah, he gave it a shot. I don't think it really worked out probably to his liking. You always think you're going to get a few more positions, but you know, he's finding himself in a little bit of trouble now. I think it's coming up to the last lap, so it's good to always take a gamble and a punt, but you know, when you're running in the last lap battling side by side with Phil Jones coming out on the source, you don't want this when you're fuel saving, so every extra little bit of fuel that he has to use is not good.
Right, an entire lap he'll have to battle with Phil Jones, so I'm pretty sure he'll probably have to let him by to continue fuel saving.
He'll have to let go down here at the back of Camel Straight, because that's where the best time to fuel save is, letting off the throttle, giving it a few seconds. So depending how much you save for this last lap, he could be in a little bit of trouble though, I believe.
Sam Sutton coming to the very end of the final lap here. 16.8 seconds ahead of second place Sean Kelly. Sam Sutton definitely showing how to get it done here at Spa. A great victory. Fantastic run for Sam Sutton.
Yeah, very dominant drive today. That's a very dominant drive by Sam. Well done. And it's a very nice drive as well by Sean to come home in second, and all this matters for the championship points and all that. No Jake today, no Ethan, so Sean has maximised as much points as he can, as well as Corey.
Yeah, Sean Kelly definitely doing the very best job that he can for points there, considering the situation. He finished in second. He'll take home the most points for out of everybody that's competing for the championship here. Sam Sutton just burning them down. What an awesome race.
It was a very nice race today. And that's what I love about Spa. It always provides, no matter where you look throughout the field, it always provides such a great, enthralling, race, because it's such a great circuit. And I think it's one that every guy or girl should love in the V8 Supercar, because it's just such an addicting track, and it provides great racing like we've just witnessed today. So what more could you ask for? Maybe a dash of rain, that would have been nice. But
someday, we will definitely see that someday. I am very confident that we will see that probably within the next year.
oh, we still got Jeff Gouchy coming around. He's still fuel saving, so he's struggled this lap.
Whoa.
Oh, what has happened there? I'm not sure what just happened. I just clicked onto him and he's gone flying off the circuit at the last corner, like the old tab out or something.
I don't know. I think maybe he was out of gas and just coasting and just decided he couldn't make it all the way around. I don't really know exactly what happened there, because his car is not damaged. He could definitely, if he had gas, he could get it around the last turn and cross the line. So, I'm not sure.
I think you're 100% right there, Kane. He's tried to approach that corner at about 140 kilometres an hour, hoping he would get around it, because he's run out of fuel. He's run out of fuel 2 corners before the end of the lap. So he's tried to make that corner at a speed that you were never going to make that, and he's fortunately found a barrier, and I think that's the end of his race. Unless someone comes and saves him, he's going to, that's really heartbreaking.
Yeah, definitely a heartbreaking finish for Jeff Gouchy. Thought he had a good strategy. It was so close. One turn away from finishing that thing in 8th place, which is not a bad position. I think he probably would have fared a little better had he not chose that strategy. But just one corner away from getting across the finish line. That is definitely heartbreaking.
It's never nice to, not make it, especially by one corner, but sometimes you run the gauntlet, you run a strategy like that, and it may not pay off. So some guys will learn from this. Some guys, will make sure that they don't try it on Monday, but it's looking like a 2 pit stop strategy, and it provides some great racing today. And I think one of the biggest winners in the pit stops was Sean. He did quite a great job, to come through the field, make that time gap on Corey. Not too sure what happened with Corey throughout his pit stops, but he started to lose a little bit of time. It made me a little bit worried, and all of a sudden Sean benefited, and he's come through to come home second today. But all eyes is on Sam. He's driven an absolutely phenomenal race, and it gives him great confidence going in towards that V8's online series. And he's just sort of affirming his point to everyone in the series that he's pretty good. So we've got to keep an eye on this young fellow, and he drove a very dominant race today that he should be very impressed of.
Alright, I'm back now. Sorry, TeamSpeak just all of a sudden locked up, wouldn't let me do anything, so now I've got it back. Time to start the post-race show. Got everybody here for some interviews. I think we should bring in our race leader, or race winner rather.
Yeah, he looks like he's beaming with excitement at the moment, so let's bring him down and get his thoughts on today's race, eh?
Sam Sutton, welcome to the post-race show. Fantastic job. Looked like you didn't put a wheel wrong all race long. Got out in front and just never really looked back.
No, I was actually hoping Ethan would rock up today, but just from practice, the only one I'd seen quicker than me was my teammate Josh Rogers. So when I saw the strength of the field today, didn't expect a lot. I mean, luckily to hold Corey behind me up the Camel Straight, he thought he could go where there was only half a car width, so had to make sure he didn't go there. But other than that, it was just keeping Sean behind me in that pit stop because I think he's short field. And,
Yeah, very.
Other than that, it was pretty much straightforward.
Sorry, Sam. Now it was a very dominant performance today, and you pretty much led it from start to finish. The only trouble that was really looking like you were getting under was from Corey, giving you a little bit of a hassle, but he thought better of it, and yeah, he allowed you to sort of drive your own sort of tune of a race, and you pulled out a very dominant drive today, so you should be very proud of it.
Yeah, it was good. It was just we found a few things with the car that's made it a bit more balanced. It was quite neutral, the car. There was only sort of one movement of the wheel, and it did exactly what I wanted, not like the other weeks. And yeah, Corey was just kind of there. I knew there'd be a point where he'd fall off or his time to slow, and it happened, and he got out of the draft, and after that it was just plain sailing.
Well, an awesome drive. It's looking good for you on Monday night. You're doing quite well in the official series, so that's awesome to see. And of course, splitting some duties in the booth as well as you did last week. So that's got to be a little tough on the championship points over in that series. But last I seen, was in second over there and having a great drive.
Yeah, the championship's really tight at the moment in the overall official series. I think Ethan, Rogers, myself, and Mitchell Selak are quite tight as the top four. There's about a race win between me and Ethan, and I've got a week less on Ethan, not counting tonight. So it's going to be tight come week 12 between us four.
Yeah,
It's definitely shaping up for a good battle towards the end of the field, and also at the end of the season. Some great tracks left to still to visit, so we wish you luck on that, and you never know. It's looking like a great battle towards the top four at the moment.
Yeah,
Yes.
should be a cracker. Thanks, guys.
especially when those drop weeks start coming off. It's really going to be awesome come week 12. Well, congratulations on a great season, Sam. You really deserve it. A lot of pace this season, and it's good to see. So congratulations.
Thanks, Kane, and once again, guys, good broadcasting and good call, fellas.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Now we'll bring in Sean Kelly. Good timing there for us. Pulled him in right while he's taking a breath. Sean Kelly, welcome to the show. One of your favorite tracks, and it really showed here today. A great showing, second place, and yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, not too bad. Usually don't have too much time to grab a set, and I think it's pretty clear early on. Probably wasn't going to have the pace with Sam, even if I slotted into second, retained position off the start. But so I knew from there it was just really battling Corey, and I felt like I had maybe a bit of pace over him, and really wanted to push and make the pass in the first stint. But considering I was just racing him, I figured I'd just try and make use of pace and undercut him with low fuel in the first stop, and take full fuel in the second, and it turns out it worked a treat. So it's not the most exciting way to get a pass done, but sometimes you just gotta take the smart option, I guess.
Oh, most definitely. I was highlighting the Kane how well that strategy paid off for you. You know, you jump sailed him by the tune of 15 seconds. We weren't too sure what happened to Corey. Well, we were figuring out that it was a 2 pit stop race, and it was also under develop. But he came out right behind Sam when he came out of his pit stop. I'm sure that the world would have lit up for the next few seconds trying to get that move done.
Yeah, sort of. Like I knew I had some tyres there, but I knew he had taken more fuel for one. So I knew I wasn't really racing him, so I just thought I'd keep my eye on him and try and stick with him, which didn't do too bad Sorry, I guess he would have had fresh tyres, but so I would have had warm tyres. But yeah, so I didn't do too bad sticking with him. Just minor mistakes started dropping off him, but I was happy to be almost sticking with him. But yeah, so you wasn't racing him, so you was just racing Corey. So just wanted to make sure I made my pace in the second stint, which is normally on my weakness, is losing focus in the second stint. So managed to keep it up, and yeah, pretty boring race, pretty spread out, but I guess you take him. But yeah, do enjoy Spa always.
Some great moments you provided us, especially out of Eau Rouge. I saw that moment Corey did where he was very sideways coming off the curb, and even you a couple of times, you hold your breath and you're like, oh, they're going to make it. So we thank you for providing some great entertainment value today. And yeah, it's always good watching you and Corey have a good battle.
No worries. I was thinking about it, and it's not often you think about broadcasting the race, but I was thinking, if it's broadcast, maybe we should stick with Corey and just stick in this tower and actually try and get a pass done on track, which I'm pretty sure would have done over the course of the race, but yeah, wise ahead. Said just to undercut him, but yeah, you should. It's always better to get it done on track, though.
Well, when you're racing for point in the championship as close as you are, it's you got to make sure you get that move done and done safely. And of course, the safest place to do it is to just pip him in the pits. So the strategy worked out great.
That's right. Also, instance a big deal around here too. So easy get stuck in a battle, get a few off tracks, and have a car contact and be disqualified. So yeah, safe option. Find clear space and track. So, but yeah, congrats to Sam. And yeah, good race by Corey too. And I was just reading in the chat or something, a few people just missed a race by a few minutes. So hopefully they'll be back next week. And yeah, thanks to you guys, and thanks to Hybrid Racing Simulations and Custom Image.
Yeah, you got some good points today as well. Ethan wasn't there, so that sort of helps you catch him up in a little bit of the charge there, and also no Jake today. So you're looking pretty good towards the top 3 finish this season. So you're going to be pretty happy with that in the American Series.
Yeah, I think, Ethan's just on. I missed on Park. I'm pretty sure Sam's missed one or so, or two. I'm not sure. I guess I'll have a look in a few weeks, and yeah, I'll probably try and ramp it up and try and turn up a bit stronger towards the end of the season. Try and get a win, I guess.
We had the Watkins Glen next week. It's a track you usually do quite well at, so looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah, I always look forward to that. Just so much fun. It's just such an intense race. The rhythm and flow just doesn't let up, so every minute you're just dealing with the same. It's just got such a good flow about it. I love it. Yeah, so yeah, just don't want to turn up with too loose a car. That's all.
Watkins Glen has always produced some great broadcasts, so I'm really excited for next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sean, thanks for coming in for an interview. It's always great to hear from you. Glad to see you running the series and doing so well this season. It's always good to see you here in the Americas Series. So thanks again, and good luck next week at Watkins Glen.
Cheers. Thank you, guys.
Let's bring in Corey Preston. Corey with a great race tonight, finishing in 3rd place. Great run, Corey. A lot of pace in the 6 boost machine.
Yeah, Kane. It was I had pretty good pace earlier on in the race, but Dawn ranged up to the back of me and started battling, so that put pay to any chance of getting Sam. But yeah, the opening few laps were good, and yeah, I just kept getting very line compromised at turn 1. Couldn't take my natural sort of line, so that was hard to make pace there. And yeah, and then I just messed up lap 9. I went to pit and realised, I'm not meant to pit for about another 2 laps, so that lost me 3.5, 4 seconds right there. So it was a bit of a scrappy race, both on track and strategy, though. But yeah, 3rd's always good.
He came out with a good end result. We were a bit mystified what happened, how he lost so much time back to Sean, and we figured out that he took a low pit stop, but still can figure out what those 2 or 3 seconds, those little seconds, you know what I mean, that sort of haunt you. And yeah, it's all about draft you, and you're having an absolutely brilliant battle with Sean, throughout the whole race, and it was really great to watch that. But once he got you in that little bit of a pit stop, I was getting a little bit worried that if you were going to catch him towards the end, but no, he drove a very well race today. And sometimes, we just come home on the podium. That's all you can do, and that's what matters towards a championship and other things. So you did very well today, Corey. You should feel very proud.
Yeah, like as I was saying, like Sean come out, or Sean pitted. He come out like, I don't know, behind me, and then I pitted, filled the tank up, and took tyres, and he had like a good 20 seconds on me, and I was like, what? Did that happen? I wasn't that slow. But yeah, I don't know. I might have to go revise my strategy because yeah, they took lighter stops, but they were able to make pace where I wasn't. So yeah, I think that middle stint was the killer for me, to be honest. So yeah, but a good result anyway.
Lessons learned for Monday. I mean, there's other strategies that you can try, and hopefully you can go better. You've got some good pace around you as well. You've always traditionally had some good pace, but moving towards next week, we're going towards Watkins Glen. I know that's another track you predominantly have liked throughout your racing history. You looking forward to that one, though?
Yeah, it's Watkins Glen's a little artificial just because of the amount of draft that's there. So results really determined on straights. So yeah, I mean, that does sound a little bit hypocritical, seeing as I was pushing for Le Mans, but at least Le Mans has corners. Watkins really doesn't. But yeah, we'll see what happens next week.
Well, it's great to see it doing as good as you're doing in the season this season, Corey. Not only here in the Americas, but in most of the races that you've been racing this season has really been good for you. You got a lot of pace in the car. The the handling of the car seems to be real good, and your races are just really starting to come together, and it's really good to see. So congratulations on continuing with a good season, and hopefully things will continue through Watkins Glen.
Yeah, thanks, Kane, and thanks, Marlon, and yeah, we'll see what happens next week, eh?
Thanks,
All
Corey.
the best.
Now we'll bring in Tony Klusman. Tony had a great race going. Man, things were looking great, and then catastrophe struck, a lockup going into the last sharp corners there, and yeah, so before there, man, it was looking great.
Yeah, it was good for the first stint, and after I pitted, I got a pit exit penalty and had to come back and serve that, stop and go, and that put me in a position that really ended up costing me at the end of the race. I locked up badly on the rumble strips, and I got in the back of Brian Borg, and that I totally own that. I really am apologetic for having wrecked his car there, but I see he's still able to make it to the finish with a decent result.
You did as well as you could. I mean, it's scary seeing a car like that have an issue, and you did as well as you could to sort of to limit the damage. And yeah, I'd never seen such damage before on a car, like on the side panel. And I was saying to Kane that it wasn't like it was center punch; it was like punching the side of the cheek. And unfortunately, in that next lap, it would have been very difficult to drive, but you just sort of looped it around. And you had such a great day before that. That's what you got to remember. You can't sort of focus on those moments there, and you were really, really battling, towards a good position. So these are things that you should look at towards, taking to Watkins Glen, for example.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I had a black flag, so I had to come in for repairs at the end anyway. So, that's why I ended up in the pits. But yeah, it was steady. I was looking for maybe a fifth place finish, which I would have been quite satisfied with. Probably would have had a good battle with Paul Gorell there at the end, but the top four were in good shape.
Well, definitely a tough break to a great race, but I knew as soon as it happened, I knew that you were not only sorry for what had happened. A lot of drivers will try to put stuff on to another driver. Then I knew that you just instantly felt bad for it, and yeah. Then of course the gut wrenching part of destroying such a good race for you, but he was able to get the car, and even there before you pitted to get those repairs, you were still racing, even with that damaged car, racing with Jeff quite well. So I was really surprised to see you making that old beat up car go as well as you were.
Yeah, more willpower than horsepower at that point, I think.
It's looking more like one of those three-wheeler vehicles, wasn't it, Guy?
Yeah, it was looking pretty rough there, but yeah, it was good to see you doing as well as you were at the first half for sure. So hopefully things will be looking a little better for Watkins Glen.
Yeah, hopefully. I like Watkins Glen. I'm not really in favor of that configuration. I'd rather run the longer course, but I'm sure it'll be interesting. It's always very competitive there. Lap times are very quick, and the field will be bunched up for sure.
Whoever set the schedule did a great job making sure that Watkins Glen in the V8 Supercars series matches right up with the NASCAR series. NASCAR will be at Watkins Glen this weekend as well, so that'll be cool to be able to match tracks with the NASCAR guys. See a lot of Watkins Glen this week. And yeah, I'm kind of with you when it comes to the road cars. I really like the boot section of the Glen, but a lot of people hate the extended part, the extended Watkins Glen, but I really like it. But when it comes to watching the V8 Supercars, it seems like that short version, the cup version of the track, definitely provides a much better race.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kane. I think it really bunches things up. Let's hope no one does Brad Kozlowski there in turn one during the Americas race next week.
Yeah, Brad's already destroyed a car this week. I didn't get to see exactly what happened. I just seen pictures of the aftermath, and yeah, completely destroyed that machine. So, of course, there's not ever been a harder crash than that Jimmy Johnson wreck where he just went straight off the track, full speed into the wall, right off the long straight, and just hit that wall full force when it was in the very beginning of his career too. And
Yeah, I saw that replay today, and I watched it, and I was just amazed that he was able to walk out of that. So, anyways, thanks for doing the broadcast, Kane, and Marlon for stepping in recently. So, it's nice to hear your voice and to give Kane some assist.
I think I might have blew a couple of people's eardrums out earlier on the broadcast with the volume, okay, though?
yeah, I had you a little cranked up there. Of course, this backup headset of mine is not the best, and I was having a little tough time hearing you on my end. So I was like, well, I'll just make him louder. And the guys watching the broadcast are like, whoa, the Australian's so loud, turn him down.
I've been doing a great job, Marlon. It's really good job. It's really quite cool always hearing someone, a driver like you, comment through the race. So yeah, it's good. But just coming back to Watkins, I love, like if it didn't have the cup layout, you wouldn't think anything of it. You'd think, oh, Watkins Boot, just a great track, because it is a great track. But the thing I like about it is provides such a different variety with the cup layout. It's just so fast, so intense, and it just doesn't let up. And I just always like variety, so the boot would make it a little bit more like some other tracks, and yeah, so just it really mixes it up quite a lot. So that's why I love the cup layout.
I agree. It's the cup layout. It just really intensifies the race for the nearly the entire race. There's always great races going on, but like I say, that the boot does really change things up. It really makes things more interesting, but as far as the excitement, it's really on the cup side. Well, Marlon, thanks for joining me here tonight. Like the guy said, it really has been nice to have you in the booth the last couple weeks. It's nice to have that the driver in the booth to kind of more about what's really going on track than what me or JD do as a for somebody that just watches from up here. But got things fixed on my sim rig a little bit this last week, so I might actually be able to get in the car, do some laps, and get at least some perspective on some of the tracks. But there's no better perspective than from a championship driver, and it's really showed in the broadcast. So appreciate the help. It'll be nice to have you back out on track, though, eventually here before too long.
Yeah, no worries at all. You know, I enjoy stepping in, and fortunately, I'm just getting over the flu at the moment. I've been quite crook the whole of last week. Ever since the last broadcast, I just went downhill, and I've had the whole week off. I haven't been able to work or anything. I've been crippled pretty much, and yeah, I'm just getting over the flu today, and everything's like a little bit stuffy in my head still. I'm still trying to get everything coherent and just sort of put sentences together. I don't know what I had. It's such a strong flu, but you know, it's nice to watch these guys race and all that. It makes me feel better. And you know, if I can't be out there racing, which is what I love doing, well, I'm still somewhere around, you know, at the moment. And it's great to, you know, to sort of help out you as well. And it's hard sometimes as well. So just giving you that extra little bit of relief while, you know, JD's unfortunately away at the moment, but he'll be back soon. And it gives me a great perspective on the job that you guys do, and it really makes me very appreciative that, you know, someone would offer this each and every week. So, you know, it's up to you guys as well out there to race and make the most of these broadcasts. And you know, 5-6 years ago, when I was racing, you know, full competitively as well, we never had something like this. So this, you know, allowing this opportunity for these guys to get out there, not so much show their faces, but show the virtual cars and all that, you know, on the track. It's great. So, you know, we appreciate it each and every week. And stepping at the moment is not really much of an ask at all. I'm more than happy to be here. And if anything, I just wish I did a bit of a better job. But you know, these are the things that you just got to get more comfortable with and try and, you know, learn the dictionary to make some new words or something to add to your vocabulary. So it's quite a difficult job, this commentary stuff. So my hat goes off to you.
It is pretty challenging, especially for someone like me. I'm a pretty shy guy, pretty keep to myself most of the time. Normally would not ever see me talking in front of a lot of people. Not my thing. Somehow I ended up doing this, and it really took me a long time to get comfortable talking on these broadcasts. Just had to have JD do most of the talking, and I would just kind of fill in here and there. He kind of had to do a couple of them alone, and man, that first year, anytime I'd have to do it alone, it was so bad. Now I can get through a V8 Supercar race by myself, but it's not great, but it's better than what it has ever been. I'm getting, you know, it's taken me this long to just get a little better at it. So it's definitely tough. Uh, I haven't made much progress as far as learning the track corners and all the stuff that a good commentator should do. But I have to stay so focused with all the cameras and all the directing part of it that I don't know. It's kind of hard to do all that and work the cameras and everything too. So it gets kind of challenging, but it's definitely a very fun hobby for me. I really enjoy it. I know JD does as well, and it's rewarding. And the guys deserve the broadcast. Mainly is the main reason why we do it every week is that this series is so good, and these guys really deserve to have their talent broadcast each week. And you know, every broadcast that's out there makes it a little easier to get sponsors and hopefully make these guys' virtual racing careers, you know, be just a little bit more than a hobby for them, or a hobby that can pay them back a little bit, or something like that. It really just makes me feel good to kind of help out the community, for one. So glad I can do it. Glad you're here to help me the last few weeks. It really showed in the broadcast having you here. It really was really made for a great broadcast. So appreciate it.
No worries at all. And, you know, we have 4 more great weeks ahead of this season, and things are starting to spice up for another championship. We can't forget about that at the moment. Things are looking quite well in the land of the world of Ethan, going for a 3rd championship, I would believe. But, you know, as I said today, Sean's done a great job, and we're heading towards Watkins Glen next week. 25 laps on the Cup version. A lot of things can go good there, or a lot of things can go bad there. It's such close, tight racing, high intensity, high speed, and when you have a track of, you know, high speed like that, things can go wrong in a heartbeat. So we'll see what these boys can produce for next week. Hopefully I'm a little bit more set up, as I've had a computer crash early in the week. So hopefully I get all the trading paints working so I can see everyone's beautiful skins. But yeah, can't wait to get out there and do it all again next week, hopefully.
Well, thanks everybody for watching here tonight. It definitely a great showing here at Spa. There's a lot of different strategy possibilities with 2 fuel stops, so that was definitely interesting to watch. Some great racing, especially mid-pack and toward the back of the pack. Man, there's a lot of excitement here today. Don't forget the NASCAR is racing at Watkins Glen this week as well. We broadcast the NASCAR iRacing Series on Wednesday, which would be, well, it's going to be Thursday morning for the guys over in Australia, but probably around noontime for the Australians on Thursday. But for the Americans watching, that'll be 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll broadcast the NASCAR iRacing Series Open Series, and it's been a great series. So if you got the time, tune in next Wednesday for Watkins Glen Road Race. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be back here next Friday night for Watkins Glen in the V8 Supercar. Always makes for a great show, a great broadcast. These guys really get intense at Watkins Glen, so make sure you tune in next Friday. I do want to apologize before I go for this sniffles and this cold that I've had. You've had to listen to it all night long, and appreciate your patience with that. Sorry about the volume problems earlier as well. Glad to get that a little bit under control for you guys. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching, and very big thanks to Marlon for stepping in and giving me a hand. And big get well soon to JD, battling the shingles. He's just on the back end of having a really rough time with the shingles, so really hoping JD gets back to 100%. And I think that's all. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care. Bye bye.